this episode of Dolce Vita, savor the authentic flavor of Korea. Get into the colorful world of American artist Nelson Caban. Have a taste of the chic and innovative version of the old-time favorites. And be inspired by the enigmatic artworks from Central Eastern Europe.
When it comes to cooking, I think using seasonal ingredients makes all the difference. Choosing ingredients that are naturally in season means you get fresher, sweeter, perfectly ripe produce that makes all the dishes tastier.
I think the most important thing will be presentation, because nowadays we tend to take photo before we eat. However, Korean chef may have a different opinion.
We keep the authenticity, so we're using the classic and traditional way to cooking as a recipe, but we twist the other technique from the other countries and also the modern touch. So when you have a taste, it's fully Korean, but still when you have a look outside, it's very modern and different than other Korean cuisine. Essential item of the Korean cuisine is seasonality and then jang. Seasonality is very important in Korea. We have a 4 seasons in Korea as well. So spring for them, a lot of herbs, summer many vegetables, and autumn many grains, and winter many seafood at the same time. And then the jang is a very essential identity of the Korean cuisine. We have a kanjang soy sauce, doenjang soybean paste, gochujang chili bean, fermented chili pasted. So this is all mixed identity. We can show at our restaurant as well. So it's the flavor-wise, we can make it more savory to come together.
Perhaps due to the influences of my childhood Korean best friend, I grew up loving Korean food. From japchae to kimbap to yoke to galbi, I love it all.
Well, recently I'm very into Korean cuisine because I've been watching a lot of Korean drama. So apart from the tasty kimchi, I always have a crave for Korean fried chicken, especially the combination of sweet and spicy. I mean, just talking about it already makes my mouth water.
I can describe my cuisine as authentic, seasonality, and then unique. If I mention about the jjambok yukhae, jjambok as abalone is a very premium ingredient in Korea. It was presented as a gift to the king of the Korea. And then yukhae is also one of the royal cuisine, one of the items. So we mix with the abalone and then a yukhae come together. And then we add on the rich wild egg yolks. So it's making a more balanced and make a different texture and a flavor together. Our risotto is a combination with 2 famous chicken dishes in Korea. One is a samgyetang, one is a Korean fried chicken. So we're using the supported local, so the chicken from the new territories, and then we debone the chicken breast and the chicken thigh. We're making a roulade and then bone for the soup. And then we're making a roulade and then we slow cook, and then we crust with the rice flour and then make it crust outside. Inside is very soft, so it's a kind of multi-texture come together.
Food is always an interesting topic to talk about because not only does it keep us alive, makes us feeling satisfied, but it also signifies our culture identity.
Through food, we get to gain an insight of the beautiful culture of any given place. Whilst I appreciate culinary creativity, I also think it's very important to maintain the authentic flavors of certain dishes.
We truly want to keep the authenticness of the recipe, and then we want to present to the Hong Kong, this is what it is, the Korean cuisine. And then as a seasonal item, and then one of the good ingredient, especially the jang. So one of the examples, its name is a jang trio. We're using the 3 types of the jang, as what I mentioned before, the kanjang, gochujang, doenjang, into the one dessert. So kanjang for the kanjang glazed pecan, doenjang for cream brulee, and then gochujang for making a powder on the top together.
Some people say sauces overwhelm the original taste of food. But for Korean chefs, the sauce is the soul of every delicious dish, as it adds juiciness and enhances flavors. The next time you cook, try to play around with different sauces, and you'll probably be surprised.
So my inspiration comes from direct interaction with people, just walking around the city day to day. My philosophy is to create art that kind of shows human nature. Me as someone who's lived in different countries in my adult life, I try to find a common thread that ties everyone together, irrespective of culture and language.
To Nelson Caban, the creative process is a means to impact people's lives positively. That's why once you step inside his studio, you can experience a space that's filled with uplifting energy.
10 years ago, I bought a one-way ticket because one of my good friends was teaching English in Zhongshan. I had to come here to renew my visa for mainland, and I went to Lan Kwai Fong, and I had so much fun that I was like, I want to live here. And it took me about 18 months to figure out how to get a visa, but I just fell in love with the city from like the first couple of weekends staying here. All art is kind of like a diary. Like I feel artists create from their lived experience. So wherever I go, whoever I meet, whoever I interact with kind of becomes part of the story. So me being in Hong Kong now for 10 years, I'm influenced by the food I eat, the buses I take, the people I talk to, my friends, and it all kind of comes into the work. I'm developing them in a different way. But I think for Hong Kong, the thing that I love the most is probably the food. Some of my work has these little elements inside of them.
Nice to meet you, Nelson. So apart from painting, I know you're currently working on neon and some wood portraits. And when did you start creating these and why?
So the neon was inspired by walking around Temple Street, Mong Kok. You would see the old neon signs that now the government has kind of like removed some of them. But I was struck by the beautiful, like, handcrafted nature of these neon signs. The wood portraits came from locally here in Fulton. I was walking by a local street, and there are many shops that sell wood, you know, big, about 1.5 meters by 2.5 meter size wood. And I've used wood in the past to make frames, to make stretcher bars, to stretch canvas. And I've been looking for like a new medium to work with. So I decided to buy these big pieces of wood and kind of cut them up and see what I can do with them.
So what kind of like message do you want to express through these artworks?
So I want to show how culture is universal. Although we have differences in customs and language, we all love family, we all love music, we all love to celebrate, we all love to feel love. As Hong Kong is a universal city, like, you know, international city, sometimes there's misunderstandings between people. But I feel like art is one of those cultural products that kind of bridge humanity. You know, like you could
a universal language for
absolutely, yeah. You know, it's just color, it's just a figure, it's just people can understand it. And I think that's the beauty in it. Anyone from adults to children can kind of feel the energy and the intention. And I think there's something really beautiful about that.
Looking around, there's so many decent artworks right here. Which one is your favorite?
Probably this one right behind us. So this was done for a show here in Hong Kong many years ago. And it was about the 1980s, just the culture in general, the music. It's the first like successful experiment with the wood. So.
A lot of like different aspects. There's like car here, socks here. There's a lot of different elements just getting involved in this picture.
There's a little bit of Hong Kong even in the New York piece here.
Is there any like specific one representing Hong Kong or?
So about a month ago, I started doing like these wooden face portraits.
There's like mahjong here.
There's mahjong. There's the lanterns. There's the ice cream truck. There's the egg waffle.
There's a signature street right here.
So I put Nelson
SWAT
Street.
shoes and SWAT wear.
I feel like the signature will throw off the harmony. I decided just to put Nelson Street instead. So this one I entitled Local Girl. And yeah, I did this specifically for Hong Kong.
What about this trendy heart
What's the whole
shape?
little heart? Yeah.
Trendy one, right?
Yeah, you know, people go and they take the photos of the little heart.
You have to use 3 words to describe your artworks.
I would say passion, color, and life.
Okay.
So I feel anything you do in life, especially something that you dedicate years to do, you have to be passionate about it. I do have a passion for art. I stopped a couple years after university, and when everything in life kind of went downhill for whatever reason, art was always there to save me.
Yeah.
So art is my passion, right? Color, for me personally, makes me happy. Like, I like to dress in color, I like to have color around me. And in life, I feel like life's a celebration. And in particular about these works, they're gonna outlive me, hopefully.
I have to say that I totally feel that because I just feel so energetic when I come into here. You know? I just feel like it's a very lively place right here. So are there any like upcoming projects or goals from you?
We'll see. Right now, the biggest project is probably one for the Tokyo Olympics, but who knows if it's still going to be on schedule.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah, I mean, we all need something to celebrate, so I'm just going to keep making the work, and then when things start opening up, start getting them to the galleries and into people's walls. So.
Thank you so much, Nelson. Very impressive. Appreciate it. Artists have their own style in art, and some of them usually integrate various techniques to develop their unique artistic style. Nelson's innovative techniques that merges oil painting, wood art, and neon light design to create a distinctive art piece that is very impressive. So, does it also surprise you?
After the break, enjoy traditional taste with a modern twist. And get the most from your art gallery visit.
What is your take on keeping traditions alive in a modern world? Some people feel traditions have to be preserved to the T for authenticity's sake. Others say dinosaurs never survive. You have to incorporate changes even into things historic. Today, I'm going to be talking with a friend from the F&B world, and she's going to tell us what it means to keep traditions alive. As the third generation to run her almost 80-year-old family business in the food and beverage industry in Hong Kong, Yvonne knew that it wasn't going to be easy to bridge Chinese business traditions with the modern-day expectations of customers when she came on board. Yvonne is here to share her tips and tricks for keeping her family business traditions alive while staying competitive. You're the third generation as well as the first female to helm your family's business. That must be exciting. Tell us about that.
I wouldn't say like very exciting, but it's like definitely very challenging. Every year we have something new, and it's kind of it's a very good training ground, I would say, to give me a different opportunity to try different things and then get myself stronger and think bold and think bigger.
You mentioned challenges. For a project like this, there are bound to be ups and downs as well as disagreements over things such as design or the kind of food that's served or even the color of the drinks. How do you overcome those challenges?
The most difficult part is I sort of have a dream, what is it like, but how to convey the message to the team and to the family members, as well as how do I have to make it concrete, and especially, for example, the food itself, how to balance authentic and creations and contemporary. So this is something that you need to try and error to tackle all this challenge.
Give our audience some insight into how you go about transforming an iconic and traditional local restaurant brand into something that's hipper and more contemporary.
I try to make it through two ways. One is from the food, the other one will be from the ambience, the venue itself. For the food, for example, nowadays people like taking photos before they start eating, right?
Yeah.
So of course I have to make the dish more interesting and then let people enjoy it before taking pictures. So that's the first approach. So for example, one of our signature one will be taking our signature dish, roast goose, the roast goose legs, and then put it on the charcoal grilled stove. Charcoal grilled goose is our restaurant's signature dish. So I pay a homage to our main restaurants. So this is the linkage between the new one to the old authentic Cantonese restaurants.
I know that before you joined the family F&B business, you worked in a very different industry. How did your experience in accounting translate and help you in this industry?
Before I joined the family business, I'm also the financial controller for a startup medical group. And where I have learned is it's a startup company, so I get to involve in the whole operations. So that actually gives me the entrepreneur's mindset So which is a very, very good training ground for me to see the business in a more holistic way, and then to understand the business is front line and then the back office function. So actually that equipped me very well to come back to the family business and help the company.
Finally, I want to ask you, how do you strike a balance between preserving something that's traditional and iconic and creating something that's new and exciting?
While we're doing the creation, we always keep one thing in mind, that we always have to stick back to our tradition, the culture, and the authenticity. But meanwhile, on the creation part, we will try to do a lot of different selections, more selections with the customers. For example, we have the afternoon tea sessions. Nowadays, a lot of Western tea set, right? So we would create something like, okay, there is while there are many Western ways, there is a Chinese way of doing an afternoon tea set. And then we will put in a lot of Chinese element there to create curiosity and also the attractions to the customers.
Making changes is never easy. Taking a well-established family brand and making changes to it poses certain risks. But as Yvonne has showed us, striking a balance between the traditional and the innovative is the key to success.
There are 100 reasons to love living in Hong Kong. And to me, I love how diverse the city is. There is always a host of opportunities to discover different cultures and explore new things. Without leaving our hometown, we can even experience some of the most exotic cultures in the world in the coolest way. Can you tell us the purpose of showcasing Central Eastern European art pieces in Hong Kong?
So to us, Central Eastern Europe is a relatively mysterious place, and it's also very rare to see Central Eastern European art in Hong Kong. Because of the unique geopolitical background of the region, it has actually inspired a lot of amazing artists to create very unique works. So we thought it would be a pity to miss that just because we are unfamiliar with the culture. And also part of our foundation's mission is to fill the void and to bring something new to Hong Kong. And therefore, we thought it would be nice to educate the public through this showcase.
And is there one or two favorite pieces? Can you tell us more about it?
Among the Central Eastern European art, I think Mira Burka, it's a very amazing artist from the ex-Yugoslavia. Mira Burka left her country and she went to Rome, and then she joined a group called Illumination Group, led by a Japanese artist called Abuya Nobe. And the group emphasizes light, color. It was very special to see how Mira Burka uses a special material called tempera to create the work. And there was this natural, soft, and pastel color that shows the light of the work.
Precision, the use of color, execution, composition, etc. are the reasons why we love about art. But what I find the most pleasure in is the artist's ability to portray reality. Some say art offers an alternative and also a grounded perspective to understand the past and also open a window to answer to the future. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, this showcase, the title is called Tracing the Fragments. So Tracing the Fragments actually explores the idea of timescape, and it kind of looks at how memories and histories are formed and interpreted. And through putting together pieces of fragments that we remember or we experience, then we thought, through this showcase of showing all the artists' experience together, the audience can actually look at the past and also aspire to the future. And perhaps, sometimes looking at history or what has happened, we could find a solution or a better way to communicate in the future. And that's the whole concept of this showcase.
And how do you think visitors will enjoy this exhibition, and how is the experience different from the others?
Well, I think this showcase is very diverse, like art form-wise. You'll see geometry work, and then you'll see installation, kinetic installation, and there's video work, and there's also very handcrafty embroidery works. And also, while we understand Central Eastern European culture might be a little bit foreign to the local audience, we created some education programs or education tools that would help them understand the show a lot more. So on the wall, you'll see prompt questions where it's almost like there's a guide leading you when you're walking through the exhibition. And there's also another tool called Tube, where it's like a compass, a lot of questions on the paper, and then kids or audience can also walk through while they're holding the tool and answer the questions in the tool.
And Central Eastern European art is so rich in culture, and how would you describe it in just a few words?
I'll say it's rich, profound, and also very diverse. So a lot of the times we address Central Eastern Europe as one whole region, and we thought, it's one single culture. But inside, it's actually a lot of countries and then a lot of unique cultures there. So I think, what we have to understand is a lot of diverse things are going on within this region.
One thing that Elizabeth and I both agree is that art eliminates boundaries, because we believe everyone should get a chance to appreciate art, no matter where you are or where do you come from.
That's all the time we have for this week's episode. If you want to find out more about what we have introduced, remember to log on to our website. In the coming weeks, take pleasure in gourmet food from around the world. Explore fun and effective ways to stay healthy, look gorgeous. Keep up with the latest trend in every aspect of life and connect with inspiring people from different backgrounds. Be sure to tune in again next time.